How's it going, everybody? Hope everyone's doing well. I just wanted to say welcome back to the Gsd Podcast. I'm Luca Nunziata, and I'd like to introduce my two guests I have today.
Let's go Giants, baby. I'm Logan Grosick.
And I'm Derek Rufo.
So today we're going to be starting off by why the Giants have been bad the last 10 years. You know, there's been some good moments, but mostly it's just been disappointment. And we'd like to start with the infamous boat picture. Derek, would you like to explain that a little more?
Yeah, I would. So, heading into the wild card round against the Green Bay Packers in 2016, the Giants were 11-5, and they had one of the best seasons they've had in a decent amount of years. But unfortunately, before the wild card game, some of the wide receivers, actually the whole wide receiver room, including Odell Beckham Jr., Sterling Shepard, a few other players. I'm pretty sure someone else, but that's besides the point. They went out and partied, and a picture of them was posted without them knowing, and they played like absolute garbage in the wild card round, and they got a lot of backlash for that. And then the year after that, I remember OBJ tore his Achilles, and just ever since then, it's just been a downward spiral for the Giants. And I remember kind of when he got traded too, that was a big factor. Would you like to talk about that a little bit?
I would, yeah. OBJ, one of the key players for the Giants. He actually might come back this season, but brought a lot of good to New York. Very fun receiver, electric. His just ability to make plays was just unforgettable. And when he got traded, just kind of killed our momentum, because 2016 we had something good going, and then we had him for a few more years, but those years were pretty rough. We got Saquon Barkley around those times. We had the players, but we just didn't have the teamwork and chemistry to make anything really happen. And I think ownership has contributed to that a lot, especially.
I agree. I think after Tom Coughlin leaving, that was a big downfall with the Giants coaching staff. Tom Coughlin, Giants legend, he brought in 2 Super Bowls, but after Ben McAdoo, Steve Spagnuolo, Pat Shermer, Joe Judge, Brian Dable, and then intern coach Mike Kafka. Now I think this year, with a good solid coach like John Harbaugh, there's some hope now. There's been a lot of coaching issues the past couple 10 years, and I think they have a solid foundation now, which they haven't had. So I think coaching was a big issue the last 10 years.
Yeah, and I'd like to add on to that too. Remember those years they've had Dave Gettleman, and he's just made some really questionable decisions. Like the OBJ trade, he actually got a pretty decent value out of it. He got Jabril Peppers, he got Dexter Lawrence in it, and then he got Oshane Ximines. But then there's moves like paying Daniel Jones the $160 million and bringing in Kenny Golladay, 4 years, $72 million. It's just moves like that where you're taking gambles, and it's really just not smart in any way. And I think that really has been a downfall of the Giants. But I think ultimately, the management and ownership as well has just been horrible. The stadium, if you've looked at the stadium, it's not really the best aesthetically pleasing stadium, number one. The field has caused so many injuries. Sterling Shepard's ACL, OBJ torn Achilles. We've had the Malik Neighbors ACL now. We have Saquon has gotten numerous injuries. So all in all, I think the Giants really just need to take another step in the right direction in terms of ownership. But I do think they've taken major steps with the Harbaugh signing, and bringing in these guys like Likely, Greg Newsome, Tremaine Edmonds, and now you go and get Arvell Reese and Francis Malga in the draft, who are going to be big future prospects, or big future.
Staying on the topic of drafts, I think drafting has also been very questionable for the Giants. Got guys like Kadarius Toney, Evan Neal, who just have just not been worth their value at all. And it's just good to see that the organization's finally been drafting good players like Jackson Dart, Cam Skattebo, Abdul Carter, obviously Arvell Reese, and Malik Neighbors 2 years ago. So I think because of that important fact that's starting to change, we're starting to build some, key foundations with this team, and it could be, the beginning of something great.
Yeah, you talk about trades. Let's go back to 2016 when we traded up to get Eli Apple, who ended up to be one of the worst corners in the league and still is. So I think the ownership has gotten a lot better.
Yeah, they've missed a lot on those corners. They drafted Eli Apple, sucked. DeAndre Baker and got arrested. Deontay Banks had a promising rookie year, but he's really been atrocious recently. But they have turned him into a return specialist, so I think that maybe he could build a role around that and maybe contribute a little more. But then now you lose guys like Cordell Flott. And all in all, I just think the Giants, Xavier McKinney too, Julian Love. I think the Giants, honestly,
Williams.
the general management and their decisions to keep or move these guys has been like just borderline atrocious. So I think they're going to take a step in the right direction now with Harbaugh and the good ownership. And yeah, I think it's going to be better.
There's definitely a lot of hope for the future for the Giants fan base. I hope you enjoyed our podcast about why the Giants sucked the last 10 years. I hope you guys have a nice day.